The email arrived on a gray Monday morning, the kind that made everything feel heavier than usual. I opened it expecting routine updates, but instead, I found myself staring at a subject line that made my stomach drop: mandatory team retreat, attendance required. That alone wouldn't have been a problem, except for the small detail buried halfway through. I was assigned to share responsibilities, activities, and apparently accommodations with him. Ethan Cole. My work rival. The one person in the entire company who could turn even a simple meeting into a silent competition. We had spent 2 years trying to outdo each other: better presentations, sharper strategies, faster promotions. Conversations between us were always polite but edged with tension. So the idea of spending an entire weekend at a retreat with him felt less like a team-building exercise and more like a carefully designed torture test. When I walked into the office kitchen later that morning, he was already there, leaning casually against the counter as if the universe had scripted the moment. "Looks like we're partners," he said, holding up his phone with the same email. I forced a tight smile. Lucky us. There was a pause, brief, but loaded. Something in his expression shifted, like he was thinking the same thing I was. This weekend was going to be complicated. Neither of us knew just how complicated yet. The retreat center was far more luxurious than I expected, nestled in the mountains, surrounded by tall pines and crisp air that felt worlds away from the city. For a moment, I almost forgot who I was here with. Almost. After a long orientation session filled with awkward icebreakers, the coordinator made a final announcement. "There's been a small mix-up with room assignments," she said, smiling far too brightly. "To encourage stronger team bonds, some of you will be paired as couples for the weekend." A ripple of laughter moved through the group. I didn't laugh. "Ethan Cole and," she glanced at her clipboard, "you two will be sharing one suite." My heart sank. Before I could protest, she added, "with one bed. We hope this fosters trust." I turned slowly toward Ethan. He looked just as stunned, though he masked it quickly with a half-smirk. "Guess we're a couple now," he murmured. "This is ridiculous," I whispered back. "We should say something." But when we stepped forward, the coordinator was already moving on, and everyone else seemed to find the situation amusing rather than concerning. Later, standing outside our assigned suite, keycard in hand, I hesitated. "This is temporary," I said firmly. "Of course," Ethan replied, though his tone held a hint of something softer. "We'll survive a weekend." I nodded, but as the door clicked open and revealed a single large bed in the center of the room, I couldn't shake the feeling that survival might not be the only challenge. Inside the suite, silence stretched between us as we both took in the situation. The room was elegant, soft lighting, a balcony overlooking the forest, and that one unmistakable focal point, the bed. I set my bag down quickly, trying to focus on anything else. "Okay," I said, turning to him. "We need rules." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "Rules?" "Yes. Boundaries. This is already uncomfortable enough." To his credit, he nodded. "Fair." I crossed my arms, organizing my thoughts. We split the bed. No crossing sides. No weirdness. And this whole couple thing? Strictly for appearances. He leaned against the dresser, watching me carefully. "You're taking this very seriously. Wouldn't you?" There was a brief pause before he answered. "I suppose I should." Something about the way he said it felt different, less sarcastic, more genuine. "And one more thing," I added. "No bringing work into this. No competition." That earned a small smile from him. That might be the hardest rule yet. Despite myself, I almost smiled back. We spent the next hour unpacking in quiet cooperation. It was strange, being around him without the usual tension of deadlines and meetings. He wasn't trying to outdo me. He wasn't even arguing. For the first time, I started to see him not as a rival, but as just a person. And that realization unsettled me more than anything else. Dinner that evening was a carefully orchestrated social event, complete with assigned seating and subtle observation from management. It became clear quickly, this wasn't just a retreat. It was a test. "So, how long have you two been together?" someone asked, smiling eagerly. I nearly choked on my drink. Ethan stepped in smoothly. "A while," he said, glancing at me with a convincing softness. "We've just kept it private." I blinked, caught off guard by how natural he sounded. "Oh, that's adorable," another colleague chimed in. I forced a laugh, slipping into the role. We didn't want it to affect work. Under the table, my knee brushed against his. I pulled back instinctively, but he didn't react, just continued the conversation as if everything was normal. As the evening went on, the act became easier. We exchanged glances, shared small smiles, even laughed together. It was all part of the performance, yet something about it didn't feel entirely fake. At one point, someone joked, "You two have great chemistry." I expected Ethan to deflect, but instead, he said quietly, "Yeah, we do." The words lingered longer than they should have. Walking back to our room later, the air between us felt different, lighter, but also charged with something unspoken. "Not bad," he said casually. "We make a convincing couple." I hesitated before answering. "Yeah, we do." And for the first time, I wasn't entirely sure I was pretending. Back in the suite, reality settled in again. The bed. The silence. The closeness. I changed quickly, keeping my movements efficient, avoiding eye contact. When I finally slipped under the covers, I stayed firmly on my side. Ethan joined a moment later, careful and quiet. "Good night," he said. "Good night." The lights went off, but sleep didn't come easily. Every small movement felt amplified, the shift of the mattress, the sound of his breathing. At one point, I turned slightly, and our hands brushed. I froze. "So much for no crossing sides," he murmured softly. There was no teasing in his voice, just quiet acknowledgement. "Sorry," I whispered. "It's fine." Neither of us moved away immediately. The contact lingered for a moment longer than necessary before I pulled back. But something had changed. The tension between us was no longer about competition. It was something warmer, more confusing, and far more dangerous. The next day was filled with team activities, hiking, problem-solving challenges, trust exercises. Ironically, the more we were forced to work together, the easier it became. At one point, during a rope course, I hesitated at a high platform. "I've got you," Ethan said, standing below. "You don't even like me," I replied. He looked up, meeting my eyes. "That's not true." The sincerity in his voice caught me off guard. I took the step. And he was right, he had me. That evening, sitting on the balcony, the world felt quieter. "Why do we always fight?" I asked. Ethan leaned back, thinking. "Because you challenge me." "That's your excuse?" "It's the truth," he said. "You make me better." I just didn't know how to handle that. I looked at him, really looked at him. "And now?" He hesitated. "Now I think I don't want to fight anymore." Back in the room, the distance between us felt smaller than ever. "This changes things," I said. "Yeah," he agreed. There was a moment, fragile, uncertain. "We don't have to pretend anymore," he added. I nodded slowly. "No, we don't." The retreat ended, but something new had begun. Back at the office, everything looked the same, but it wasn't. We weren't rivals anymore. And when someone asked if the rumors were true, Ethan glanced at me with that same quiet smile. This time, I didn't hesitate. "Yes," I said. Because now, it was real.